See if this camera wants to work today.
There he is.
There it is.
All right, we are live. This is part one of the three-part finale of X-Men 97. Get your comments in there. And if you're not watching live, leave comments. We'll comment all week long and beyond. So this is it. Part one of the three-part finale of X-Men 97. We're going to cover the entire episode and break down every Easter egg that we found. So let us know what you found, because I'm sure we missed some. Here we go. X-Men 97 episode 8.
Previously on X-Men.
Ooh, Knock. How did you like the episode without giving a rating, without giving anything away? Did you enjoy this one?
I'll tell you this. After episode 5, I was raving about the show. The guy said, wait till episodes 8 through 10, and I'm through the roof. What a start to a three-part finale. This is going to be a movie.
This, wait till we get to the Easter eggs, Knock. I am beyond excited for if they're going to do something. This may be the best thing Marvel has ever done.
Bro.
So get ready.
I can't wait to get into this, man. I'm starting to remember some stuff. I watched this episode earlier, and then I was going through the workday, and now it started to hit me again what I just witnessed, and I'm getting excited, man. Thank you for everyone jumping in. Let us know what you guys think.
Let us know. Let's jump into it right now. Here it is. I'll get these slides up here. Of course, there will be spoilers talk about this because we're talking about the whole damn episode. Tolerance is Extinction Part 1. Part 1 of 3. Tolerance being the kind of the theme to X-Men the animated series. We'll touch on all that. And man, part 1, we start out with Cable shooting bottles. I don't think he needs target practice, but he's doing it anyways.
It's all he knows, man. He had no family.
No. We're going to talk about his future in a second to account. All right. Anyways, he talks about his future right here, finally breaking it down for the X-Men using the cube that we saw in the original series here. Yeah. He's breaking down, if you see, it is evolution, like man with evolution of apes that you saw Bastion learning in this episode at school. So that's what Bastion learned in the classroom. Now in beginning, Cable's teaching that with, you can see like the different types of Sentinels, Nimrod, the Sentinel, Bastion up front here, and he's leading the X-Men into what is going to be the final battle of these 3 episodes.
I can't stand Bastion. In fact, I did a little flashback with him in school, which we'll get to. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Bastion. Take a gander at that bottom slide. That's coming back in the Easter eggs, and I am very excited.
I love how they explained all this too. Like, it was really well done.
It was. And, there's a lot going on to it, too. He describes his future here. He has some cameos pop up that we'll get into in the spoilers. So, I mean, we can talk about them now if you want, but he's showing that mutants are being used by people like Bastion in Cable's future to be members of society. They rebuilt Russia to be a little bit more streamlined. He basically sets them up to be like Master Mold wanted them in the original series. If you watch the homework, One Man's Worth, part 1 and 2, we'll talk about that this episode too. But Master Mold wanted them all to be sentinel minds in the human bodies. So that's what we're gearing up for. And in One Man's Worth, we'll talk about this. You can see in the top right, Bastion's future is being discussed too. Him being his wife getting knocked up from the janitor of the school, who has been taken over by the remains of Nimrod that you saw if you watch One Man's Worth part 1 and 2. And then you see more of Bastion after the birth being more sentinel minded and realizing he's not normal.
Definitely. And there's a few things to break down from there. I don't know if you've been catching up on this. Like, we in the past few seasons or episodes, been talking about Wolverine taking a back seat, not being like the forefront like we've seen it. Now we're kind of seeing like an emphasis on, was Charles Xavier right? They keep tying it back to, this was with Charles's future that they thought, and it's not good. So now we're kind of seeing him get broken down. He's going to rebuild himself back up.
Yeah. A lot of themes here. We're going to touch on some of the more extreme ones when we get to Sinister's talking, but it's a quick story of how Bastion came to being here, and I like that it got broken down for viewers, especially like Knock and I, who are new to Bastion.
Yeah.
This exchange was kind of fun until Jean got in. It's not your kid, Jean. Back up off of it.
I don't mind it. She's starting to like embrace that she had a connection with Madeline Pryor. I kind of like it, man.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
I don't know.
No, never mind. All right. Anyways, she remembered the birth. I was trying to figure out whatever else she remembered in there. But we get nice stuff here going back and forth here. And also during the scene, I want to point out, we didn't have a slide for this. It was exposed that Charles Xavier is alive. Wolverine slashed the TV, said, what the fuck is going on here? They're giving out the answers here. Charles exposed that camera that's up by Lilandra's base in galaxies far, far away was shown on the news here. So
talk about caught in 4K. I mean, we're really seeing Charles Xavier, like his legacy being smeared. So I'm really interested in how they're gonna play this out because, he's had such like a, the Boy Scout polished, legacy, no mistakes, nothing. And even Scott in this episode was saying, how he wished he could have asked, or he really hoped he could have asked, Xavier, like, how was he so good at being a father? Like all these different, like these skills as a person, as a leader.
Yeah. There's so much to touch on, but let us know in the comments. This part right here, when they got Xavier, when they got him up here on the cross here on the X, or sorry, Magneto, yes, sorry. This was telling, and then we'll go into later on too. This is also part of a comic in the original run here. What did you think when you saw them having Magneto locked up like this, and then you saw what's her name here? Correct me in the chats. Starts with a V.
Correct me in the chats as well, because I've been remembering her name this entire season, and she's been an important character. So when I saw this, I was like, wow, she was in on it the whole time. Like she was the one who was his trial. She was the one like saying she was part of the mutant cause, right there with Professor X, and she was lying this whole time. So I thought about that. And I was thinking too, is like, what's her connection with Bastion? Are they related? Or is that like his lover? Like what is going on there? So I'm guessing my thought the entire show was, are they related? Then I see Magneto looking jacked. Someone loves Magneto. Whoever do the artistic design, this man looks jacked. Then I see him there and I'm like, he's broken. She starts talking to him. He doesn't say a word. Like, and she mentions, which I thought was a good thing to mention, he hasn't said a word since the thing at Genosha. And we know what he said to Leech before he went. So it's just a lot of insane stuff, man, that was going on here. There was this scene was pretty strong, pretty like impactful. And it wasn't, he didn't have to say a word to like feel the gravity of what was going on.
Right. I'm trying to find her name right now because she'll come up again. But here, seeing the numbers on here,
that's
the Holocaust numbers, that was a big deal. They're leaning a little bit more into that. They hinted at it in the original series, but this series was made for Saturday morning Fox. Yeah. So they're going a little bit more in here now, and we'll talk about with Sinister, but they really hit into this, and I don't know, it's just a very, very powerful scene in here. So I'm very happy that they did it the way they did it.
Yeah.
This right here, Jubilee is, I don't know why she's still hanging around him and his family, but
she got a crush. She sees someone that she can connect with. How many people are Jubilee's age? The expansion right now. She's happy to see another person her age.
That is very true. So right here you see Stryker on the TV.
Yeah.
This is kind of a reference to God Loves, Man Kills, an X-Men story from Claremont. I think it's 81. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But you can see in the television screen there, where am I, over here, on the bottom left of that comic book, it kind of mirrors that. So I thought that was a very nice touch here. And it's informing people that Xavier's alive, Xavier might be coming, all this stuff. Like, it's creating fear in people's minds, which is, again, part of the theme. People in power, instigating people to be fearful of what they don't like or what's different from them through television. And then you can see what's his name's mom kind of falling for this, especially when they take him and Jubilee away, because they're authority figures. And some people believe, authority just because they're authority. So strong messages throughout this whole episode.
Yeah, that whole rollout of like his mom and like not being like true, like that was crazy. And like I said, but touch on what makes up about Magneto coming back with that, like he can't be a villain anymore. Like this is like the complete babyface turd, if you want to say it. Like, and I mentioned that again because I was waiting for the shoe to drop for him to become that villain, and it can't happen. Like he really was trying to turn a new leaf, and then he got betrayed. He actually was right. I forget who said it in the show. Someone said in this episode.
It was what's her name with the V in the name that we can't remember her name. So
Oh
someone
yes,
please let us know
someone
her
in the
name.
chat, let us know.
Thank you, Mr. Alpar. Nice to see you, man.
And then Sunspot, my boy Roberto's mom, like just completely throwing him to the wolves. We haven't seen his father yet. I don't know if he's like an important character, just someone who just doesn't really want to be there. But yeah, I was disappointed to see that. I thought when she did turn him, we're gonna get to it. When she turned him in, I thought we'd see like, oh, she might start tearing up, some remorse.
Yeah.
I even thought maybe she was a sentinel. I was like, what's going on here? And we see none of that. She's just one of the rich people that want to care about the image too much over her own kid.
100%. Again, deep themes.
There's so
very well
much
done in
going
here.
on. 30 minutes. We're getting all this in 30 minutes.
30 minutes, exactly. Oh my goodness. We got Rogue and Jean's trying to get in touch with her telepathically and stuff, not really working. And then we get a breakdown from Nightcrawler here talking about what family really is. So there's blood, which is your blood. Family is what you choose, and that's why he considers the X-Men family, and everyone else kind of does too. A lot of good stuff in here. Anything stand out to you?
Yeah. The way they present the information, because even me, like, I watched the original. I know like their backstory, like Mystique is their mom. That's his long lost sister. But I'm glad like he got to explain that again, just for maybe a new viewer. Jean Grey, someone who I wasn't too sure, because I know like we've seen so many different X-Men iterations. I didn't know that like in this, or I didn't remember that in this show that they don't have too much of a connection. They don't really know each other too well. So I'm glad we got to see that in this quick little scene. And it just, again, we maximize so much in this show with the 30 minutes. It's insane. And then for last week, brush me up. Did Rogue get blasted? Like, what happened to her to get into this position? I know we had to fight, but
wasn't she? The Sentinel just blew up right up on her, and then everyone else. I think that's what it is. So yeah. Okay. And then in the original series, this was touched on, and then also touched on in the original series was the fact that their stepdaddy is Sabretooth. So
yeah.
What a family. Anyways, the X-Men go and they search out Bastion's origins. It is very like Nightmare on Elm Street, like 5-ish or something. Anyways, it was very cool. I liked it. The mom was sitting there, welcomed them in because she's kind of programmed to in a way. This is an Easter egg, but we're going to talk about it right now. They went through a whole bunch of stuff here. Bastion's drawings. This was one that was foreshadowed in episode, was it 1 or 2? When Jean Grey was going through stuff. That's what the top is. The bottom is the drawing from this week's episode. But I thought I'd put it in here because we're going to talk about the drawings on the wall, which forecasted the entire season and some other stuff from Cable's future, if you want to nitpick that and check it out. But what do you think about the visit to Bastion's childhood?
I thought it was really well done. Like when they first got there, I thought like it'd be one of those things where like the whole facility was underground or something. It was just like in this house and like it was like a secret thing. Then they got to it and we seen, oh, this is his childhood stuff. We seen his mother. Then we seen that picture of that girl. I wasn't too sure if that again was that the reporter being his sister. I kept getting those vibes. Maybe I was wrong there, but
no, you're right.
It was very haunting, and like I was like, all right, what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen? Like, and it showed how much of this he already planned out. He knows so much about what's gonna go on, and it got some fear into the characters because Cable's been how long has Cable been trying to prevent this stuff? And he said like to the point where he should have given up a long time ago. So it's really crazy.
It is, and there's some other stuff too. If you go back to the original series, it seems like you can easily see that Bastion forecasted as well. Yeah. So and the biggest reveal
throughout the whole series, he's there in the background.
He is. They when they entered, they said it kind of smelled like dead bodies and stuff like that. But then if you realize after everything happens, oh, the mom was a dead body the whole time. So little details. This was the big detail that they saw. This was forecasted by a young Bastion.
I can't stand this dude, man. You know, Bastion's a little close to another word, and that's kind of what this guy is.
Yeah, that he is. Very cool, though. Let us know if you can pick apart any of the mutants in the bottom, but this did forecast episode 5. So very cool stuff here that they're planting. And then this, if you've ever seen Village of the Damned from the 90s, the box art for that, if you want to look it up, it's with Christopher Reeve, but it's about children with bowl cuts and their eyes are like that. So it was reminiscent of that to me, but this was a very creepy and well done scene with Rogue.
It's well done. Like just a little visual right here. We know Rogue being as powerful, she's kind of helpless. All these people coming after her. This rose my anxiety through the roof. The entire attack on the X Mansion, but this specifically, I was like, come on, what is we doing? Like the threat level is so real right now. That's what's really making it feel great because the threat level is so high with Bash and all these guys. And to clarify, like I was trying to pick up on that as well. So they take you back, like Bastion takes you, and makes you a sentinel, you're dead. That's it. You're no longer there.
I think that's what it appeared to be. What else would it be? Especially the mom smells
Yeah.
like a dead body. Bam.
Because that, and I was wondering, because it's Trask they have underneath their ground in the lair, right? Trying to like preserve him a little bit. I think that's what's
I
going on.
think so.
So I had those questions also because then when they attack the X-Men and they're fighting, they're not holding back. Wolverine is full claws out, slashing and dashing these dudes. My boy Nightcrawler got the sword swinging. So if they're still alive, like they're getting destroyed.
They are. We'll talk about them in a second. Let's talk about this road trip too first. What'd you think about the pairing and the action scenes with these Summers?
That's another thing I didn't touch on. Going back to Bastion's house, who was there with him? It was the dysfunctional Summers family. My boy Cable, obviously Jean Grey and Cyclops. Like they got to hash out some things. I think it was Bastion's mom. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was like something about like being there for your son. She said something about like family, and it just subtly you see like the frame of all three of them together and the awkward look is like they weren't really there for each other. Like it was just so spread apart that like there's so much that happened. So then we see like kind of like them on the outskirts. We see G Gray kind of try to be the mob, like put your seatbelt on with the X-wing, this type of stuff. And Cable's like you're 50 years or 50 lifetimes too late or something like that to the Cyclops to be a strict dad. And then you see like the part when he's driving, he's like, "You got a Porsche?" And my boy Cyclops just smirking. Like you see the gradual like, all right, we're gonna come together a little bit. And they fight together. This was beautiful, man. There's so much going on. Like this is amazing.
This was cool. So there's my nitpick on Cable. If he's from this big dystopian future that's so like terrible and bad, why is he so like enthralled with like his dad flexing in a Porsche?
I don't know. Come on, man. He never had that. I think at some point that's like the little thing that could pierce his armor, pierce his shield he's built up. Like, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to drive cool cars with his dad when he was a kid and he never get that chance. Now, he let the guard down a little bit.
Cable wants daddy to buy him a car. Okay. The other thing Cable said in the very beginning of the episode when the newscast was telling that Charles was alive and they're calling for a war on mutants. He said this is a nitpick in writing. He said the villagers are going to start coming with their pitchforks. What does Cable watch? That's a Frankenstein reference. So I'm just like, when did he watch Frankenstein? Anyways, just a nitpick.
I mean, yeah, that is a nitpick. But I would say, has he been to the past? I mean, he's been all over time. Has he? I don't know.
Could you imagine? He's just time traveled so much. He's like, I just need to go see a movie. I need to go fucking see a movie. Hey, take an hour and a half and go see Frankenstein.
And that, since you mentioned him coming in the beginning, I want to know what happened to Bishop. My boy Bishop was, in good shape. They said, "Well, we're gonna take this kid, go to the future," and the fact that he got separated or didn't make it, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, that is. I will say, if you watch One Man's Worth, I love Bishop's upgrade with the hair because his hair looked like Maui on a normal human being in the original series. Yeah. So I like the upgrade with that. Oh, random Easter egg too, since it's up. We'll get to them in a second. The car, the license plate on there said Slim 1. That's Cyclops' old nickname from like way back when, Slim.
Oh, wow.
So that's before Cyclops. So good stuff with the Summers. Yeah, it was good. But this is it. You wanted Wolverine. You got Wolverine.
Bro, I wanted Wolverine. And like I said, I've been saying it the whole season. It only takes one scene, one episode to get Wolverine back into the top tier. And this man was clawing. You see that scene when he was in the sky, just cutting through everybody? Berserk mode? Oh, come on. Listen, I was ready to jump out of my seat. Wolverine gets me hyped. I know, like, everyone's upset that he was pushed to the forefront in the 90s forever, but this is my guy, man. When Wolverine gets going, my boy's getting busy. You want to squabble? This guy, oh my goodness. I was ready to run through a wall earlier, man. I was at work, like, just about to. Wolverine was going off. And then he started tag teaming with Nightcrawler with the swords? Dog.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. I love the swords of Nightcrawler. I thought it looked cool. And everything about these scenes, especially the one that you said, was so well choreographed in the sky. And then we get to see an inside look at Nightcrawler. So here's the debate. Oh, tell me, what did you think about that?
I thought it was great. They said something like, just give up already or something. And then Wolverine, I got 6 reasons why not. Then here comes my boy Nightcrawler. I got 9, make it 9 or something like that. And
Yep.
I love this scene of like him going through Nightcrawler's portal. You don't really get to see that from someone else's perspective. Like it looked like very weird, very like claustrophobic. And like it made sense. Like I was like, oh, that makes sense how you go through the portal as someone else. And I can see you coming out the other end kind of sick, people like that. Um, like I said all season, the animation just feels inspired. Like this is so good.
Yeah. Let me just the thing that I didn't know was with him Wolverine right there. To me, I thought Nightcrawler teleported. To here, it looked like he was going through like space, like physical space.
Oh, yeah. So
But let
maybe
us know
that's
in the
like,
comments what you think.
yeah. I don't mind that. That's kind of cool. I mean,
Okay,
like
I
it's
like
like
the teleporting a little bit more because it's a little more mysterious and cool. But
okay,
I'm
yeah.
fine with this.
It also there was one scene he teleported. I think who was fighting somebody. He got like as soon as he teleports, it looks like he doesn't see where he's going. Like he teleported, he landed, he had to kind of look around, and he got like hit by something. Or
Yeah.
it was Morph when he was as Juggernaut and he fell on him. Like he didn't
Yes.
exactly see it.
Yes.
So kind of like it's little it's not as direct as like I thought it would be. Like he kind of has to like gather himself once he teleports.
Right. Right. Great fighting though. Like you said, they didn't hold
Yeah.
back. They just kept going
They're
and going.
not.
And if you watch One Man's Worth, you learn that Nimrod can piece himself together. So that's the technology that was very Terminator 2-ish in the 90s that they
Yeah.
used, and they used it in here. So in One Man's Worth, you took off the armband that makes Nimrod time travel, then he disappears.
Yeah.
But in here, they've surpassed that technology.
It's insane. Again, we're gonna really find out because when that's another thing too. So when Beast had that whole globe up of like the sleeper agents that Bastion has, did he accidentally activate something, or was that just the timing of that Bastion activated it and was like full on skill war?
I think it was the timing because then you had the Summers, then you had everyone
Yeah,
else. So I think that's what it was.
and that's why like I'm worried like if everyone was replaced as Sentinels, which how long has Bastion been doing to replace that many people? Um, if they're not alive, like that's a lot of people that's gonna be biting the bullet. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, and that was global too. So we'll
Yeah.
see if they even mention it. I mean, they don't have to, but good thing you got your Wolverine here. I'm very happy for you. You're oh man, when we get to Easter eggs, man. Oh, if they pull this
Yeah.
90s stuff off, that this again might surpass Endgame for me.
As much as I love Wolverine, the hypest moment of the episode didn't happen yet. There's another episode moment that happens that had me like going through the roof.
All right. This was a big deal. Bastion comes to the X Mansion. So I forgot the name of the comic. But anyways, after the destruction in the comic that he causes here, almost the same way that we see here in the animated series here, he goes to the X Mansion because he wants to retrieve Charles Xavier plan. So just like Batman has a contingency plan to go into effect that'll stop Superman and the Justice League, Xavier has one in case the X-Men go bad. He knows about it. He goes to the X Mansion because that's what he wants. I don't know if they'll dive that deep into it with how many episodes we have left, but he could just go there wanting Cerebro to get in touch with all the mutants.
This is a great point. And maybe that's one of the bad things of having like your secret, not secret hideout, but your whole base being so public and well known.
You got flyers for it for kids, yeah.
So and you have technologies like Cerebro just chilling there in the basement. So
Right.
This is a very cool scene, a very villain scene. You see that old school car with the lighting. I love how they did this. You see him in the background with the fire. Like this is a very well done villain scene.
It is, and that car almost looks like the one that Red Skull drives. That's in the trailer for Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hey man, we know he has a round table of villains.
That's right. Very cool, but he teleports because again, hit us up in the comments who that lady in the glasses, the blonde hair, the name's the V. Man, she lets Magneto go. He gets told that, and then he teleports, uses his technology to go back to his home base.
So he's OP. Like that's insane. He could do all this.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't know exactly how he can be stopped.
Yeah. She had a back and forth real quick. I don't know if we have it in the slides with Mr. Sinister, and Sinister kind of revealed his hand, saying like he's just using Bastion for now. Do you think there's any credence to that, or you think like he's just thinking he's in charge when like really he's gonna get pummeled?
I think there is credence to that because, like we said, I think he's gonna bob and weave throughout the next 3 seasons. Also, if they go with what they might be going with, I don't know how long Bastion's even going to stick around with. Oh man, wait till we get to the Easter eggs. But again, that Sinister slide, we'll talk about it in a second here. That was a big deal going into the themes of X-Men and when we start talking about tolerance and genocide. So that was a very good back and forth. And when she got captured, I do not think I have a slide for that. But yeah, we'll get to Magneto in a second here. But when she got captured, she made a good point of talking about how when she saw Genosha, the feeling wasn't really there. So it's like a comment on how we see wars in other countries. Sometimes we just change the channel because it's not our country or whatever. It's not her fight. So good social commentary.
She gave a really good good dialogue right there with all the stuff she was saying. You know, she felt admiration for those who were still fighting, all these different things, you know. And then the scene, I thought, like she said, that Magneto was right. Really good stuff there. There was, I like how they hinted with Mr. Sinister as well. Like I forget who she mentioned. She mentioned like some old, it's a guy from like the 1800s or something. And Mr. Sinister's like, oh yeah, he could have been something. I was there. So it kind of gives you a little hint of how old he actually is.
We'll get into that Easter eggs. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh
exactly
man, Zach is on it. Zach is on it.
Well, we'll get through the episode here, then we'll get to the Easter eggs and our final scores here. But Magneto, he goes to where the magnetic forces meet at the North Pole to get his ultimate power and do what he needed to do to just shut Bastion down. He basically made, what are those things called, like EPM bombs or you can light them off in a city and they get rid of all the technology.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm blanking out though.
But this was it. This was worldwide. He did this. He got all his energy back and his power back, full strength after he was released, and he just unleashed it. We'll get to the cameos in a second, but they all popped up at the scene here as all the mutants around the world, from Silver Samurai to Spider-Man to even the X-Men, we're realizing EMP, thank you, sets off his own EMP to get rid of all of Bastion's Sentinels and disarm them.
So when I said like the most hype part of the show for me wasn't the Wolverine stuff, it was this. This is what I was referring to. He left from the captivity and said, enough is enough, fuck it. And he did this is his ultimate move. This is his ultimate power. Like this is, I remember like hearing about him doing this type of stuff, and he literally did it. And the entire world, like, I wonder how Wolverine and them knew he did this, but he did it and he shut it all down. So this is insane. Like this is ultimate Omega Magneto, like to the fullest. I loved it.
This was huge. He did this in the comics after he came back from the dead in I forgot what other comic series it was, but it was very cool. It was very cool to see them do this and just touch on this and make it part of this whole big storyline and make people like Spider-Man and all these other ones aware of this and see this in the world. So it's not like when you do the blip and then all of a sudden you have Peter Parker's high school students in the next movie talking about it in before class segment in a video. So this was more worldwide and more extreme, in my opinion.
Yeah, so then it gives you the scale of the worldwide. Then it shows you like, you know, we have all this hate for the mutants, but like we got Spider-Man running around. We got some other superheroes running around that are kind of, you know, like it's kind of weird to target the mutants, like for these villains, like Bastion, for example. And it's all falling on the X-Men's shoulders. So like, I love the scale. Zach, do you think we're getting Spider-Man 98? Like it has to be coming, right?
Again, they threw everything at the wall at the very end of Spider-Man 90, or the regular Spider-Man series. So I don't know what else they can do, but I'd be here for it.
Yeah, I'd be here for it. Wow, man, what a freaking show.
Well, last slide we have for the episode, so let us know Phantom X's best episode ever, and this is it. To me, my X-Men, he says it. He starts alerting his X-Men, and Storm is one of them. So it's about to be on.
There was many times. Oh, it was when the Cyclops family were together in the X-Wing before they had to blow it up. You know, Beast is gonna be upset about that. It started raining, I believe, there while they were getting attacked by all those Sentinels. I was waiting for Storm to show up. I was like, all right, he's about to appear, save them, help them out. I was waiting for her to show up somewhere, but I guess we're gonna hold off on her.
Oh man, there's so much to cover in here. Anything else you want to cover about the episodes before we get into Easter eggs?
I'm sure we've missed something. Again, they used so much of the 30 minutes. It was great stuff. Everything here. I'm thinking about Wolverine. I'm thinking about Morph and all them. Nightcrawler. We're gonna see Rogue wake up too. I think episode 9. Before we get to the last one, everyone's gonna be together. Everyone's gonna be woken up. You know, re-healed. how does Magneto work? He has to stay there, right? He's going to be there. Is he going to be vulnerable to attack? I'm guessing Bastion's going to send everyone at him.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that in the Easter eggs
Okay.
too. If they do what I think they might do. Again, this holy shit. They're hitting all the 90s things here, so
They are. I guess the last thing I'll say is like you could tell the people that made it, specifically the one guy who was the showrunner.
yeah.
He's a big fan of the comics. You can tell he loves this stuff.
Yeah, we'll actually get to him in the Easter eggs too, and you'll see his
Let's get to the Easter eggs then.
Let's get to the
got
Easter eggs
everything.
then. Fuck this. Let's get to the Easter eggs here. Let us know in the comments what you found as Easter eggs, especially if you're not watching live. Hit us up and let us know what you found because we can only catch so much. We both watched this very recently. So to me, my X-Men, the line that was uttered at the very end of the very first X-Men comic. So that was very cool to get right here when it actually meant something in the series. Very cool.
Yeah, that's his Avengers Assemble,
Yes.
Autobots roll out. That's his thing, but I love
it. Fuck you, Bumblebee. All right, this is where Magneto. Magneto right here, cover with Wolverine. Again, you don't have to do the exact same thing as the comics. You can do these nice homages. I just love it.
I do too. At some point too, speaking of Magneto, we have to get the Brotherhood people, right? Where are they at? I know they're villains, but like this is beyond villainship right now. This is like they try to attack you personally. This is personal.
This is. Let me just say too, people online commenting like, "Why you got to put Magneto in speedos?" And it just goes to show because the showrunner is gay. But like, first off, let me just say, if robots were doing this, he'd be naked. So just we're okay. We're fine.
And it kind of goes with like Bastion. I think he's there to like humiliate him, to like make him feel as low as possible.
Yep. But again, a lot of different perspectives in the show, and I just love it. Here's something that we're gonna maybe touch on, or it's just a thing that we're just throwing in all MCU stuff now. Cable's timeline looks like the timeline trees from Loki with the pruning and everything else. So you can see that.
Love that.
Yeah. It just connects, and we don't need to go in and out. We just know that it's the same thing within Marvel.
Yeah.
All right, next up we go into Bastion's bedroom, and he's got the Stark Expo stuff in there, so we know Tony Stark is part of this. And you see the Sentinel toy on the side. That might have been the inspiration for how he made Sentinels.
I can't stand this dude, man.
And if he, I'm sorry, again, nitpick. If he was born a robot and a super Sentinel, why does he need a calculator?
It's part of the cover. I don't know, man.
All right.
I mean, it makes sense. He's drawn to Stark and his expo of robots stuff, I guess. But I can't stand this guy,
man. All right.
Actually,
this, if you notice,
those villains, like if you think of a comic villain you don't like.
Wasserman, if you check this out, when they're running through the mall, Jubilee and Sunspot, they passed a place called Wasserman's, I think twice. I think they're shopping inside of there. That is Ron Waterman, who I think is Ron Waterman, the guy who did the music for X-Men, Dragon Ball Z, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Sweet Valley High. Like, just go on his IMDb. He made so much of your favorite music. So
okay, so this guy was cooking back then, huh?
He was it.
Damn. Because Power Rangers is all-time classic for me. Then the X-Men.
I was going to say, he did like 6 or 7 Power Ranger shows. So he did a lot of them. Yeah.
Okay.
And the DBZ theme? I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on now. That goes without saying.
All right. This is it. Knock. I put the slide together. We'll talk about them.
Yeah.
Let me just ask this before we touch on what your favorite cameo was and if you think this will have any impact on the future of the X-Men series. Do you know, were you able to tell? There were 2 faces I couldn't figure out who they were, and I couldn't find pictures, and I didn't have time to take a picture and rewatch the episode. But there's someone who I think was Killmonger, and then there was a female who's basically all cloaked out except for her lips moving that I didn't know. So if anyone knows in the comics, those 2, and I think one was Killmonger without them saying so.
Okay.
Let us know in the comments.
I would have to rewatch, but I don't know who it might have been. But that's interesting.
Who's your favorite cameo in here?
I knew Spider-Man was coming, so I mean it wasn't my favorite, but Doctor Doom for me. And I loved how he put in like he doesn't want any association with the genocide. So it shows you like, these villains are still villains, but they have different agendas, different like things they're fighting for or going for. I'm glad I introduced Doctor Doom. Like he was my favorite by far. He's one of my favorite villains of all time. and I just want to see more of him in like different medias.
Yeah. That was a very cool one. That was a big one. That one like hit me
Yeah.
hard. Then seeing Zemo and everyone else was cool. On the bottom, those were the two that were in Cable's explanation of what his timeline was like. On the left bottom, you can see Polaris there. She was also in X Factor. She has kind of magnetic powers, and she is an indirect sibling to Wanda and Pedro.
Really?
Yeah. So you can find her comic line, a lot of different stuff with her. Her non X Factor outfit looks like Wanda's.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know about that. I don't know if she was in the other X-Men like cartoons. I don't think I've seen her before. But that's really cool. And where's Wanda and Pietro actually? Anyways, I would love to see her.
Well, hopefully they make an appearance. If you know, in the original series, Polaris, she has big green hair, like kind of like curly looking hair. So
Okay, maybe I did see her. Okay.
yeah. And then on the bottom right, you can see Rachel Summers. That is the daughter of Jean and Scott. That one you can scold like it's your kid, Jean. But anyways, this is an older version of her. She has the tattoos on there, and she's being manipulated to help rebuild the city from the Bastion-like Sentinels. Those tattoos were, I think they're called wolves. But they were mutants used like wolves to hunt other mutants, and that's what the tattoos represent.
What?
So that's what she has that on there. She's also a very big, like Dark Phoenix kind of character as well. A whole bunch of stuff with her. So go check it out and follow.
The main thing I got from that was Cyclops got a few baby mamas because Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor, we know Emma Frost is out there. I don't know what he's doing with her, but damn.
Wrap it up, Scott. Anyways, very cool stuff here. The Juggernaut making an appearance, and Silver Samurai again showing the worldwide implications of what just happened. So cool stuff. Let us know in the comments what your favorite one is. This is from episode 9 of season 5 of the original series. If you want to look it up, it does Sinister's origin in there. It's on Disneyplus. This is the thumbnail, the one on the left. That's the thumbnail. So you'll see that if you want to watch it. This is where he talks to what's her name? Valerie? I can't remember her name now.
Yeah, we get that. Next episode will be on it.
Yeah. But anyways, he explains to her that stuff about the guy that you mentioned that he knew. That is an old Nazi guy who is.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, he did say that.
So in that episode, it does go through some of that timetables, and it does have Xavier's like ancient people. Ancestors. So if you want to watch that episode, you can check it out, and that's what that whole conversation with her was referring to. So, and the pen with pigs. This right here, if you watch One Man's Worth, Master Mold told the guy, I forgot his name, but he has a jacket on with no shirt and green mohawk. And he has like a little like the guy in the black there, this little like Igor looking sidekick. He tells him, "I will make you the most powerful mutant." That's the exact same thing that he tells Bastion in this episode. So we got the homework from Bo DeMeo.
This man was on it.
Yeah. And this is a scene from One Man's Worth. This is where a gentleman helps out Wolverine, Shard, Bishop, and Storm with Xavier in a coffee shop that they go to tell Xavier, hey, we have to come and save your life in 1959. In the past, he helps save them while everyone else is trying to beat them because they're different. And it's not even because there's a good line in that episode where Bishop and Storm are in there and they get attacked and they're not liked in there because they're black. And then after all this stuff, because they come from an alternate future of mutants needing to die because of Sentinels and so forth, Storm makes a comment referring to their hate, showing that it's racism. How quaint! Out of all the shit that we're dealing with, now we got to go way back down here to racist. Like little stuff that's really cool that they touched on. But if you look on the right, Bo DeMeo, the showrunner for this show, said this is Bastion's dad. So in the flashbacks that you saw in Cable's story, different type of hat on, same type of hat on, who's the janitor. That's this guy from 1959. So he worked at the janitor and there's a school in this episode where they save Xavier because the other guy builds a bomb in this school and kills him. So this is the school that he worked at. This is where Nimrod died. So part of Nimrod survived that, went into him and so forth. So all this stuff. So the waitress in this coffee shop was apparently the mom too. So you can see the interaction there. And this is Bo DeMeo's living room, and that
I'm glad
statue.
I'm glad that even though they let him go, he's still like supporting the show and like giving these little tidbits here and there. Like it helps out a lot.
Big time. Big time. Nice touch here. And here is the next thing that he said. Your homework for next week is to
Wow.
read the Uncanny X-Men 304. Let me tell you something. Be like me in school. Don't do your homework. Bone Mayo said, do your homework. Let me tell you, do not do your homework, because if they do this shit, my favorite storyline next to Nightfall in DC,
Wow.
if they do this Fatal Attraction storyline and they do it in this episode, this may surpass Endgame as my favorite project in the MCU, but we'll see,
Wow.
because those in-theater reactions still get me.
Yeah, the
This-
oh man.
This, don't look up any Fatal Attractions covers too, because that'll give away what might happen, and it might make Gambit's death seem not as like the biggest emotional part of this series. So
Man.
do not do your homework. Do not read this. This may make Bastion look like a side character after this. This may lead into one
Really?
thing that I'm not a big fan of, and that's the Onslaught character, but we'll see. But how this ends, I will not even say. Do not do your homework and read this, because this is huge stuff that I think this is perfect to do in an animated series. So I'm very excited. I'm so excited for this, and if they touch on this at all.
So what I'm hearing from Zach is, man, you guys got to tune in next week and hear Zach's thoughts after this once we see what actually happens. Then a two-parter for you, Zach. Do you think this could work when they bring X-Men in to like kind of follow this blueprint? Like, because this has been insane. Like when we first said we're gonna do the X-Men reviews every week, we first said it's coming back, we're excited. Did you think it was gonna get this good?
The MCU is so screwed because this is so good. You cannot match this. This is like, I don't know. Name a band or an artist that has an awesome album, and then they have to follow that up. Like,
Yeah.
you can't do it. You can't do it.
No, that's gonna be insane. So I'm very excited to see how this goes, man.
Yeah. Last thing, if you want some Reeboks, they're $90. They went on sale today. You can still find them. They're not sold out. And if you're a sneakerhead, you don't need to worry. You can still get them. Wolverine and Gambit shoes by Reebok.
I don't think I'd wear any of those, but the Wolverine maybe.
Oh, look like, yeah, I'm good on both of those. All right, that is the episode. Any Easter eggs that you saw, Knock, or anything that you wanted to cover? On those?
I think you touched on everything, man. I think you covered it better than we can. So tune in next Thursday because Zach is on it. We're gonna be here. 2 more episodes ago. I think I can safely say, even with the Last of Us show we reviewed, this is my favorite show that we've done together to review week in and week out. I'm having so much fun with this. I'm enjoying making these thumbnails, putting these shows together with you, man. I'm really enjoying what I'm watching, and it's getting me hyped again. Because I there's not too much to get hyped right now. Not too many movies right now. Not too many superhero movies at that. So I'm getting really hyped about this. 2 more episodes, and Zach's talking about one of his favorite X-Men comics ever. So next week's gonna be insane. 30 minutes, and they use every single minute of it, man. I can't wait. I'm about to rewatch this episode.
I might lend you my comics after this,
bro.
I have that issue, those issues, that Fatal Attractions, like 9 issues. And you said you don't think Magneto could become a villain again? Oh,
really?
Look the F out, man.
Okay, we're in for a ride here, because I mean he doesn't know Professor X is still alive. I don't think he's seen that. It was considering he was, in captivity, that went straight for I'm about to destroy. He went to the dead zone. I'm about to burn this all down. Like I love the energy Magneto was on once he left Bastion's place. So we're about to see some shit, man. I'm so excited.
We are. Cancel Christmas. Knock, let me ask you this. What's your score of this episode? And then how about at the end of the series? We'll do a series score, but then I feel part 1, 2, and 3 of Tolerance's Extinction we should also rate as one episode after we watch all 3.
I
so
agree.
Cool.
This was the setup episode. That's what's even more insane. This was setup.
This isn't even the Empire Strikes Back episode.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10, and that's literally just being nitpicky. A 9.5 out of 10. This was amazing, man. The setup episode next week's gonna be insane, and then the finale. I don't know what I'm gonna watch when this goes off, man. I'm kind of sad this is about to end.
The best thing about this is it's rewatchable. I'll give this a 9.6. The reason it doesn't get those 0.4s is because of that cable dialogue and the nitpicky things with that calculator and a robot doesn't need. I'm stupid. I know. Let us know what you thought in the comments.
Spider-Man.
That's right. Oh man, knock anything else before we head on out for this episode.
No, just tune in next week with your boys, man. And all the people that have been leaving comments again, we really appreciate you guys watching this with us, going back and forth. You guys have been leaving some gems for comments
Yes.
under our videos and the likes. Really appreciate everything, man. So your boy, the final boss, the main man, Zach, man, really appreciate all you guys supporting. This show is amazing.
Yes. 2 episodes left. Tune in. We do it Thursdays so you can watch it. So you have time to watch it. So you have time to breathe and live your life and time to rewatch it. And again, do not do your homework. Do not read the Fatal Attraction storyline if you want to be surprised at how good things are about to get. 2 more episodes left.
2 more episodes left. Me and Zach both got the memo for the Black Hoodies today. It's Black Hoodie season and X-Men is on fire. Can't wait for next week.
All right. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And of course, leave comments. We want to know all your theories and all the comics you think we should read to enjoy more X-Men stories. All right. I'm Zach. That's Knock, the final boss. We'll see you next time. And remember, next week, to me, my X-Men, we'll see you. Be excellent to each other, everyone.
Peace out.